Yeah, because
Because yeah.
because we're dropping the YouTube link into the LinkedIn event
Hmm.
because we want to build up our following on the channel.
Well, I mean, it's we don't want to split the conversation. I mean,
I
I
like
think
that
that's
answer. I like that answer. Yeah.
well,
Daniel,
yes.
do you get? I mean, this might be a personal question, but how often do you get praised at work for a good job?
Um, yeah, quite a bit. I, I think the an important distinction. There's a lot of different praise. Like
Mm,
it's not, and what I mean by that is it's different for um, different types of praise. Different. Is it public? Is it private? Meaning given as a um, one-on-one,
mm,
that kind of thing. Um, so I feel I have some feelings about this, and so for everybody that
share your
is
feelings,
catching this,
Daniel.
is that I suggested this as our topic because, um, so praise. What are we talking about? Praise. Praise is something that you give to someone for a good job or whatever you deem as a positive thing, right? That they did or they are, I
Mm,
guess. And that's my definition. I don't know.
yep.
Um, and so we've talked about this on the show about praise being something that is Microsoft has given us with Viva, and is ways to automate this, kind of giving you reminders, right? Um, and giving you templates and
Mm-hmm.
kind of getting you there. Um, so from I find though, what I would like to hear from other people, maybe in chat or what, um, is I like to give praise one on one. There, I said it. I like to, and you know how people say you give love like you want to receive it.
Yep.
Well, it's kind of the same way with praise. I give praise the way I like to receive praise one on one. Um, especially for things that are not, if the ask or the thing wasn't done in front of lots of people on the team, then I don't really think it's appropriate to give like constant praise, like
Mm.
not constant, but frequent. Oh, that's the word, frequent praise. Anyway, I'm kind of struggling with this concept of giving praise publicly for things that people do, because I want to receive praise privately, unless it's some big huge public thing, right? I don't
Yeah.
know.
No, no, I hear
Does that
that.
make sense?
It does. And like Phil said too, like we can sometimes find it hard to take praise. Well,
Mm, mm,
um, being that it is deserving,
mm,
but I think you're right. There's this point where if you've done something for the good of the team or the company or for people,
mm-hmm,
quietly, privately, um, and you're not wanting praise, and then
mm-hmm,
you get it publicly, it does feel a bit embarrassing. But yeah, back
mm,
to like the mechanism for doing that. It's nice to have that available in Viva, and I mean it's in Engage as well, so you can create a praise templates and Teams as well. So lots of different places, but you got to add your own spin on it too. You don't just stick it with the template and a phrase.
yeah, and it's also for organizations. Managers do it differently, and so do you set a standard in an organization saying, hey, everybody, you need to be praising your people?
Mm.
Well, I am. Well, I don't see it. Well, yeah, because I do it one on one, right? I
Yeah.
mean, it's like, um and how do people receive it when it's this everybody's getting praise left and right? When
Hmm.
does that mean it's not genuine? It's just as part of some sort of program. I don't know. I don't have the answer. I'm just saying there's a lot of, it feels difficult, and it feels messy, and it feels complex, and I don't feel like there's a application that can solve it.
Definitely. It's a great example of where apps don't solve it. It's culture and people. Shall we roll the intro?
Let's do it. Hello, everyone. Daryl's over there rubbing his hands together like, hey, this is getting ready for this awesome, or maybe just staying warm. I don't know. Anyway, hello, everyone. This is episode 261 of the 365 Message Center show. I am Daniel, and that guy over there is Darrell. Hello, Darrell.
Hey, Daniel. Yes, looking forward to talking away through some interesting announcements, messages in the message center this week. Um, we've said this over the recent months that it's been up and down in terms of what we see there, and we certainly see some good examples of things that prepare us for change. I mean, I think that's really one of the main points. You've got the roadmap, and then it comes into the message center and lets us know when things are on their way here soon. And Daniel, there's a good range of things that are coming soon and surprising things too.
Indeed. But before we jump in, as always, I want to remind you, please give us a thumbs up here on this video, or if you're watching or listening, I guess I should say later on, give us a share, give us a like on the audio podcast as well. And then go ahead and share out this episode. There is a share button right below the video or the audio. Go ahead and click that share button, post it on Twitter, post it on LinkedIn or Facebook. We didn't get very much engagement last week, which was, it gave me the sads. So for those that want to not give me the sads, then go ahead and share this, tag us at 365MCS. That is our tag on every social network. So give us a shout out there. And even if you do want to give me sads, maybe that's your position you're going to take, then go ahead and share it and say, this is to give Daniel sads. So go ahead and do that. If you think Darrell's keyboard is too loud while I'm talking,
I'm typing,
then go ahead and give us that feedback too. So please go ahead and share this. Give us your feedback. Would love to do it. Love to hear that.
There's a couple of the old gang that are part of the chat today. Joanne and Ian, great to see you.
This is, I think maybe it's has something to do with daylight savings time, which just happened this past weekend. So we're actually happening an hour earlier-ish.
Yep.
Depends on, anyway.
Watch that space, huh? So whatever happens with the US and where they choose to stay in terms of the standard time.
Should I stay or should I go? All right. So enough of that.
Yep.
Our first message here, Darrell, is about paging. So I'm going to cover
paging Daniel. Paging Daniel. This one's yours.
Which I've been in a few airports here in the last few days, so where lots of paging was happening. So it was kind of funny reading this over. This is Microsoft Teams paging on Video Gallery, MC455894. And this is giving us the ability to, when we're looking at the video gallery, being able to view more. If we, we have our 3x3 normal gallery so if there's more people and we're all kind of talking and chatting, we're able to page and look at the other video, which I personally think this is a great idea especially when you're speaking and trying to get feedback from interest level as people are if they're engaged or not. Maybe they're not speaking, which means they're not showing up in the gallery and switching videos out, but being able to switch and page through, getting to the next page of beautiful faces, and seeing
stock image faces,
right? Seeing if they're yes. We'll get to that in a second. Seeing if they are engaged with what you're saying, if there's interest in the like. So I'm actually excited about this. And the preview is going to be rolling out late November, production early December, and expected to be done by mid-January. And then not just production, but it's also GCC. And GCC High will be mid-February completed. And DOD, US DOD, will be late February. before we get to some feedback on some of the stock images,
Okay.
what do you think about this, Daryl?
I think it's interesting that we've got this, and then there's also another feature around it where supposedly it's going to auto change to the 7x7 as well, the large gallery. So the two kind of try and achieve the same thing, give you a greater view of who has the video on so you can see who's engaged. Yeah, that 3x3 always seems to be filled with just the latest people who talked, of course, and whoever you might have pinned. Yeah, I think we just got to be mindful too of, like, if you aren't in that gallery display, that your camera is on, so don't pick your nose or anything like that. Yeah, I think it's helpful. I don't know how often I would have the presence of mind to use it. Maybe if I was helping to manage and monitor a meeting, and I'll look while the speaker's doing their thing. Maybe.
Yeah, I think as a speaker, I try to get feedback from people that are there. So I don't know. That's just my thought, is maybe this will help get that feedback going. So
Yeah.
and then there's some interesting, I had some thoughts on some of these stock images that they change. I don't know if it's people have fun with changing the names of our friendly faces that we have. We have some new faces, it looks like, on some of our, but then they also, I don't know. So if you look at the first image in this message, there's a Serena Davis in the top left.
Serena.
No. Well,
No.
in the first one, it's Serena Davis with a nice pink shirt, lavender maybe.
Same person. Hang on.
Shirt. So it's
yeah.
Serena Davis. But then the second one has the same name, but it is definitely a different person.
So first frame.
Anyway.
Second frame. Forgot to change the name.
So it's kind of fun.
Change the.
It's we're just having a little fun, people.
Yeah.
It's okay. We're having a little fun.
Settle down.
Down.
Authentic, verified fun.
That's right. So that is rolling out soon. I'm a fan, again, like I've said. But let's kind of put a pause in that and maybe make a virtual appointment for our next one.
Sure, why not? This is Advanced Virtual Appointments in Teams Premium MC454804. To be honest, I didn't get much time, or didn't make much time, to look at this during the Ignite announcements to see what it was all about. So, had a recent read. It looks like the virtual appointments will be available to some level for standard licensing. And what is it? It is a way of managing appointments, people who want to meet with you and with your team, but being able to queue them up, being able to give them a welcoming standard experience, simplifying their way of joining the meetings. If I can bring it to one relevant example, a lot of medical centres and doctors' appointments were held virtually, certainly over and through the pandemic, and you had to find an easy way of spinning up a meeting. And at that time, it was put this software on or that software on, and try and make it as simple as possible for maybe elderly folk to just join that meeting and put in that code and have that consult. So the idea with this is that it makes it simpler, that it's just, here you go, click this link, you'll open up a browser within your mobile experience. So there is that. But there are some features that are going to be only available in Premium, so that's what this is announcing, promoting. And so that is a integration with bookings and managing virtual queues, custom branding for the waiting room, queuing on demand. So where you might have people who have booked time with you to get into the team calendar, that you might also offer a link that allows people to, almost like walk-ins, but virtual walk-ins. Organizational analytics, you want to see, okay, well, how many people maybe turned up for that virtual appointment, but then had to go because of something else. The SMS reminders as well, things like that. So yeah, some good interesting things. There is a good additional information article, which is not called that. It's just this hyperlinked here in the message. So do click in through that and remind yourself of what is advanced virtual appointments, and you'll actually get a nice breakdown too of the following features: basic virtual appointments capabilities available in all M365 and Office 365 license plans. And then you'll come down and you'll see what is advanced features as well. Daniel, what do you think of this? Is this going to be useful for some consulting organizations, for example?
I think so. It can be in certain situations, especially. I mean, I could definitely see sole proprietors, using this for consults in various different ways. Not just tech consulting, but consulting on design, consulting on thoughts or coaching. Like executive coaching, speaking coaching, down to medical. I mean, so lawyers and accountants. I mean, you could use this for any type of making those appointments and filling up your kind of your calendar with your clients. Yes, most certainly you could use this.
I like the integration with bookings as well. So a central way to coordinate this with your team, or if it's for yourself as well, and that's part of being able to expose that calendar that is yours and offer those time slots up in a manageable way. So yeah, that is. See, this is the surprising thing. I mean, they talked about it at Ignite, and let's get down to the times and delivery times. Preview rolling out early December. Whoa. And expected to be complete middle of December. Now, I mean, that feels pretty rapid given the collection of services that have to cooperate together to make this work. Standard release, rolling out early February next year and mid-February next year. But if you want those premium features, you'll need that premium SKU. And I think there's enough there to try things out with the basic standard features and then determine from there how it'll work for you.
Yeah, indeed. And we have Joanne in the chat says she may have to take a look at this feature. I think, again, if for anybody that, needs to engage with their customer base or engage with people like this, I think it could be a good idea. But before we move on to the next item, because Darrell, I feel like that's what you're about to do. You're going to say, Daniel, I really want to rename things in Teams. I want to rename files. I'm going to say, okay, hold on.
But, you just did your own segue? Oh my goodness.
Sorry. I'm skilled like that. So I took like 30 seconds there toward, maybe
You've
10.
got 30. Come on.
And I just checked and on our 365 Message Center Show LinkedIn page at activity. And then I looked at our Twitter account. We actually had someone shared the link. And if you want to call out during our show, then you should do this. Joanne has posted and said she's watching our show. Thank you so much, Joanne, for calling out. Love seeing that social engagement. So thank you very much for doing that.
All right. So,
I did do my transition. But you can go
on. Press play or replay Daniel's segue. I really want to know about being able to rename files in a channel or in OneDrive folders while I'm in Teams. Tell me about it, Daniel. What's the title of the message?
This feels professional. Delete or rename files in a channel and in your OneDrive folder in Teams, MC455193. So one of the biggest gaps I think we've had in Teams has been file management. We still don't have like metadata, for instance, and as well as calendars, but we won't get into that. Here we are with trying to, bridging that gap a little bit of where we are in Teams. This is our ability, going to have ability to be able to rename or delete a file when we go to the Files tab in a channel in Teams, being able to manage that file in that way rather than having to go into the SharePoint side, as well as when we go to see a file when we're managing it from OneDrive within Teams. We'll be able to do that as well. So,
well, Daniel, like I know
yes.
the key piece here, and I think Lorian pointed this out yesterday when because he does like a review of messages as well for his clients.
For Teams, yeah.
What's missing here is the thing they call out at the very bottom. What's it related to? It's Teams Mobile.
That's right. Yes, indeed. Users will be able to rename or delete the files within the mobile app. That's the call out here, which is a very nice ability to be doing that on the fly. I think the more we get that interaction on mobile, the better, because I don't want to have to go to a desktop to do things. So this is rolling out early November, so nowish, and expected to be completed by the end of this month, late November. So I'm definitely excited. That mobile part is amazing. Be able to do that now. Yeah.
Just thought I'd check it just to see.
All right. So everyone that's on the audio podcast, Darrell is taking a break from the show and has pulled out his phone and has started to look to see if it's there on his mobile and Teams.
Not there yet. Okay. So yeah, just giving you a live update. Not there in my experience.
Well, you know what I think I'll do is I will assign you a task in Planner to check that next week.
How do I know that task is from you, though, Daniel?
Well, check your email.
All right, yeah. But or my activity feed in Teams, if that's where it's connected to. Planner, tasks, assignment, and email notification, design, update. Sounds flash, but what is it? MC455515. We actually see this as a trend across a number of the different services in Microsoft 365, where we might share a document, we might assign a task or other things like this, and we get an email notification, and that comes from a no reply at something. And that's okay. I mean, at least we get the notification, but we probably don't get the sense of where it's come from, who it's come from, and a level of authenticity. So what is changing? It has changed in, I think it's the SharePoint Online share a file experience, but it's changing here for Planner. When you assign a task, the person who is assigning that task will be the email that the notification comes from. So Daniel assigns a task to me. I see that Daniel assigned that task to me, not no reply at Planner or whatever it is. I think this is a good thing. But let's just keep in mind too that if you're a person who assigns a lot of tasks, if you're a project manager, that hopefully people won't just learn to ignore your emails because you assign a whole lot of tasks. I mean, honestly, at the beginning of a project, sometimes when we choose to use Planner and we go through and do all the assignments, it's what's going off in my pocket? Yeah. Oh, I'm just being assigned lots of tasks. And all those emails will come through. They'll come through with my project manager's face on now.
Yeah.
Fine. She's lovely. It's fine.
But
or he, whoever. But just, yeah. Don't let that condition you to ignore.
I just feel like what you just said is so true. What you called out is so true that needs to be changed. And there needs to be, it feels like the service should only send you a notification every 30 minutes. And if there's multiples, then it should hold off for another 30 minutes.
Aggregate them.
I don't know.
Right. Like if you're doing
a
bulk,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There needs to be some changes there.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to be conditioned to ignore things. Right?
No.
Because then we'll miss emails. So these emails are going to come as from the person and the subject is going to be, what the task is really.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's going to look like a regular email. And so we don't want to get conditioned to ignore this, because what happens when the person sends us an email about something else? Are we going to ignore it? I hope not.
Yeah. I think the purpose of the notification is to bring us into the full experience, to let us know, hey, you got a task. So it'll be good when there's the occasional task on and off. Yeah, I like your idea of aggregating, Daniel. It's a good plan. Good plan. So when is this arriving? This is beginning early November nowish. Expect to be complete mid-November next weekish. Yeah. All right. Well, last one. Last one.
Sure.
Yeah. This is again in the running. A candidate for one of the longest titles for a message. Take it away, Daniel. Before you do, take a deep breath.
I was going to do a sound effect, but I won't. SharePoint Admin Center, streamlining management of site information across Microsoft Teams and Microsoft 365 groups. MC455520. Yes, there are 3 5s there. So this is basically in the SharePoint Admin Center. Okay, so this is where we manage our sites. We set settings for SharePoint as a service. We will then now be able to look at a site's information, but if it's a team site, meaning it's a site that is, if it is a Microsoft 365 group connected site, okay, then we're going to be able to manage the information about that group within the site, the SharePoint Admin Center. So we're going to be able to change things like membership, change who's the owner, who's the members, and everything from within SharePoint Site Management within the Admin Center, and not have to go into group management or not have to go to the site itself. We're going to be able to change the group name, the description, etc. Now, I made a point of saying etc. because that's what it says in the message. But if you look, it's like, well, are we going to be able to change other settings as well? Maybe, because it said etc. It's just not too clear exactly. Like, is it going to be everything about the group, or is it subset? It says all related attributes.
Yeah,
Okay.
like when there's some things that are more informational than editable. Like you can't edit your domain for a specific site, or the fact that it was associated to a team site. So yeah. But that membership changing setting thingo is kind of useful. Yeah.
It is. So I think this is nice because it does. One thing that has been disjointed with all this is when I create a group, maybe you go into Teams and you create a team, and so therefore you get a 365 group, and of course you get a SharePoint site. Now, as a SharePoint administrator, though, I go in and say, oh, there's this new team. Great, I can edit, I can check out the information on this, but maybe I need to add an admin. Someone's asked me, hey, could you add an owner to that team? Well, now as a SharePoint admin, as someone who has permissions to manage groups, I can go in and change that within the admin center. I don't have to go somewhere else to manage that, for instance. So I think this is a good change so that we can surface the information. It's not disjointed. But I think it's also an educational effort here, because I wouldn't be surprised if it's not used very much because it hasn't been there, right?
Yeah,
and people just get used to doing it the way they normally do it. So
I like seeing the card view with tabs, because we have that for user administration. So it's good to see this coming through to sites as well. A common object, if I can call it that, within the admin center. What we're doing. I quite like this one here too, like other information. It was created, and there's an entry here from the admin center, but last updated. It's good to see where those things. So that means that this particular entry. It's a Microsoft
Mhm.
team that was created from the admin center. I haven't had to do that much.
Hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, indeed.
That's it.
So, yep, that'll be rolling out mid-November, so in a few days, and expected to be completed by late December. So we have a few weeks of this rolling out. So just hang tight, and hopefully you'll see that very soon in your tenant.
Oh, Joanne noticed something too there, that there's an archive button. Did you see where that is?
I do not see where it is, and I was actually looking to find where it is. So maybe she already has it in her tenant, although I don't.
Whoopsie.
Maybe she. I don't know. So I don't know, but I think that's. I wonder if she saw that on the screenshot or if she saw it in the message center. But
Maybe.
so anyway, so that's the messages for this week. Want to stop and again remind you, please go ahead and share on socials, on Twitter and LinkedIn and Facebook and TikTok and Insta. Go ahead
And Be Real and
yeah,
verified Twitter and
that's whatever. I do want to mention, Joanne says she was mistaken. So I want to mention she just put that in chat. So thank you, everyone. Go ahead and share. Tag us at 365MCS so we can actually, see it, tag it, and we'd love to engage with you on the socials. And make a comment on this. What are your thoughts on virtual appointments? Or what are your thoughts on the Teams paging? What do you think about this? Is this going to be a help? Is it going to be a hindrance? Do you have other ideas of improving the service? We'd love to have conversation with you on the socials. Make sure you tag us at 365MCS. We'd love to see you there. That's
see
all
you there. No, I was just looking. Ian suggesting Mastodon. Are we going to come up with a Mastodon?
No, we're not,
account?
because there's like a million servers for that, and we're not going to get into this. But that service is not going to be very popular in the future. That's my prediction. Mark it now. So thank you, everyone, for joining today.
Yes.
We'll engage with you on the socials this week or in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining us.
See you next week.